Hey there, YouTube. Shady Bill's Garage here, and we're going to be changing the front brake rotors and pads, which Honda wanted to charge me $736.77 for, and it's going to take us under an hour, and we're going to do it for $160 from parts from our local auto parts store. I did not go to Amazon or eBay and pick up a pair with brakes and rotors for $99. I went to AutoZone and got their Duralast stuff, which hopefully lasts close to as long as the OEM, because these lasted 59,000 miles, so I'll give them credit for that. But it costs $160, which is a far cry from $736.77. Here we go. Hey there, YouTube. Shady Bill's Garage here, and I'm going to be changing the brakes and rotors, front brakes and rotors, on my 2021 Honda Ridgeline. That the dealer, when I went in for service, said I needed to pay $756 for. So we have $160 of AutoZone brake pads. I have my Duralast Gold. Don't know if they're any good, but that's what they sold me. And these brand new brake rotors. Now, the reason I'm changing my rotors is not because they told me I needed rotors or because I have a giant lip here or anything, although they're rusty. It's been raining for 2 days. It's because when I hit the brakes going down the highway, if I'm going to 85 miles an hour and I go into an off-ramp and I hit the brakes, I'm feeling a slight vibration. 99.99% of the time, that's your brake rotors. What happens is they just get a little warped. So you can take them off and get them cut. What I like to do is just buy a new set, put these in the box, and then get these resurfaced. So the next time I have to do brakes, I will just put on the original OEM ones, take the aftermarket ones off, have those recut, and I can just back and forth with 2 sets of rotors. What are we going to need for this job? We are going to need a 17 millimeter socket to take off the brake caliper. We are going to need a 19 millimeter socket on a larger breaker bar, or you can use like a pipe on your socket, to take off the brake caliper bolts. We're also going to need an impact screwdriver. This is something not everyone has in their toolbox. Before you decide to do this job, go on Amazon or whatever sometimes they're not in regular stores, buy an impact screwdriver. That is for this little screw here. This little screw here is kind of worthless. And as far as what I've read, this is simply to make sure that on the assembly line, this brake rotor doesn't fall off the car. But they are usually put a screwdriver in here and you twist it and you immediately strip it. It's a very soft metal. So if you want to get it out, use an impact screwdriver. If you don't have an impact screwdriver and you've gotten this far and you need to take them off and you get them stripped, honestly, you do not need this. They are a very soft metal. Take a drill bit, drill right through it, and take this, and then that way you can take the brake rotor off. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a 17 millimeter socket, and we are going to remove this brake caliper. Now, I've already loosened it. I only have one hand today because I'm holding my camera with the other. I don't have a filmer. But if this does not come off and you have it here, just give it a good whack with your hand and they'll come off. So we'll take off both these brake caliper bolts. I'll put them here where I can get to them. Oh, and you're going to need a way to reset your brake calipers. That can be a $6 tool from the auto parts store. It could be this one that does many different kinds of brake pads, or you can use a C-clamp. I've used C-clamps for years, actually love them. And then I usually go in here and I pry off the brake caliper. And I should hang this wire or something so we don't accidentally drop or mess up this brake hose. So here we go. If you were going to be just changing your brake pads, you'd be changing these pads here, you'd be putting this brake caliper back on, and legitimately you are done in 10 minutes aside, if that, maybe 15. But in my case, we are going to be changing the brake rotors. So we are going to start by, I'm going to take my impact screwdriver and I'm going to try to get this screw out. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to hit that here like this with this hammer. I unfortunately can't do it. And that's going to loosen this up. So after a few wraps, this comes right out. There is no way in the world without an impact screwdriver I would have gotten this screw out. So once I have that out, you can see it's a very soft metal. And if I had to, I would have just drilled right through there, and bada bing, it's off. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 19 millimeter breaker bar, and we're going to take off this and this. Now, what you might be easier is to actually turn the wheel all the way to the left, and I'm going to do that now so that you don't accidentally hit any of your body parts as you take it off. You can see I have moved the wheel to the left. I have my 19 millimeter on the breaker bar on. I'm going to give it a pull up. I'm doing the driver's side. If you're doing the passenger side, you'll be pushing down. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. That first one is loose. As you see, I can do this with one hand because I have enough leverage. There we go. Those now are loose, and I can take them out. This is a 2021, so luckily nothing's too rusted, even though I'm up here in New Jersey. I probably should have taken the bottom one out first when I do it with one hand. And this is going to take off this mount. Okay. Oops. And now we have this. Now the caliper is ready to come off. Now, this caliper may be a bear to get off. Okay, I'm going to wrap it with a hammer a couple times, a little tip tap tap. If you're not an all-wheel drive car, you can go around the circles. But sometimes you get rust. Here is a wrench in the back, and it's a bear. A lot of cars have a provision for that. If you can't get these off when you give them a wrap, you see here there's a threaded bolt right here and a threaded thing here. I don't know what the pitch is for that. But you basically put a bolt in there, get your pile of bolts out, you put that in, and when you tighten that, that will draw out the caliper. It will save you so much time. So that's what those are for, and these are for if you have a rusted on brake caliper. But with any luck, I'm going to give this a wrap. And it's coming off. Okay. It's a little tight on the other side, but there we go. And we're off. Okay. Now, it's basically the reverse. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put on my new brake caliper. I'm going to put my screw back in that we took out. So here goes my new rotor. And then I'm going to be back in a second with all that put on, and I'll show you how to put the brakes on. So here we are. We have, in this case, our new brake rotor is on. These bolts have been torqued to 103 foot-pounds with my calibrated elbow. And now we're going to change the brake pads. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that these sliders, this is where your brake pads slide, move nice and easily. If they don't, pull these out, sand them down, grease them up. Mine are good. I'm not going to do that. Now we have to take the brake pads off. We're going to take off these little clips here. These are basically for vibration and noise. And we're going to pull out the brake pad. As you notice, there are two different kind of brake pads. So there's the inner brake pad. And just for this is 59,000 miles on these brake pads. And you compare them with how much meat is on this new brake pad. So they were not dead, but it was time to change them. The inside brake pad has this thing. This is a wear indicator. So if you're ever driving on the road and your car is squealing constantly, and when you put the brakes on, it stops squealing, that means you are that close to being metal on metal. And if you're metal on metal, you're going to have to change your brake rotors. All right. So in the meantime, we have plenty of pad left for that. This is going to be the inside brake pad. And this is going to be your outside brake pad. As you see, there is no little wear indicator. The reason they're on the inside is that's where your pistons are. Okay. This is a 2-piston brake caliper. So we're going to put our new brake pads in. This one in the back. It's going to slide right into here. Now, your brake pads, if they're good brake pads, should come with new ones. I'm not going to change them because these are my OEM Honda ones. And whether I'm right or wrong, I'd rather have used OEM Honda parts than aftermarket AutoZone parts. And I put those brake pads in. Now, the brakes are in. We are now ready to reset our caliper. These are your pistons. These are what squeezes your brakes. These need to be pushed in. Like I said, there's a lot of different tools we can use to do this. You can use a C-clamp, but what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting a brake pad in so we do not damage these. And then we are going to put our brake caliper tool in, whatever one you have. Now, if you only have one brake caliper tool, you're going to be doing one side, and it's going to, as this one pushes in, this one might push out a little bit. Then you're going to have to go over here to this side, and then you're going to go back to this side, and back to this side, and back and forth until you get these completely back and flush. So what I'm going to do, show you how it's done. So I'm going to get my brake pad tool set up. And I'm going to start to slowly turn my brake pad tool. And as you'll see, the brake pad is going to start going in. Now I'm going to put my tool down here for a minute and do both sides. Because as you see, I'm doing this side. This one's coming out. So now I have to flip over here. And unfortunately, I don't have a camera person. I'm doing this myself with just my phone. So I'm tightening this. And the other one's going to come out a little bit, even though I have it as much as I can to that side. But I'm going to keep going a little bit. And we're going to bring it in as much as we can. And as you see, it's going in, it's going in, it's going in, and we're resetting this brake caliper. Now I'm going to flip it to the other side, now that we have this all the way smushed on this side, all the way in, right? We're making room for those new brake pads because we've used up all that room. These have all this meat on them compared to what was there. Okay, actually these are coming in pretty good. I might not have to do the other side. Probably do. Probably have to give it one little squish on the other side because I was able to get kind of in the middle. Let's see. All right, I'll be back. Put them back on, and with any luck, I've got them squished in enough to slide in. Good, I do. Trying to do this with one hand is a little bit of a bear. Okay, and we're on. And as you see, here's these little things. They go in here. We're going to grab our bolts back. And we are going to tighten these back in. And we're going to torque these down to 53 foot-pounds with my trusty calibrated elbow. So we're going to tighten these. Both down. Nope, I switched to tighten to loosen. And this is all there is to it. This job was, what the dealer wanted to charge me, $756, I believe. And it cost us $160 for the brakes. There we go, 53 foot-pounds. And the rotors, with brand new rotors where they wanted to just resurface the ones at the dealer. So you can do this. If you can change a tire, you can do brakes. Don't be afraid of it. Now, one more thing. As we, there we go, tight. As we've done this, so your brake pedal is going to be extremely soft. So before I put my tire on, I'm going to start the car. And the first like 2 or 3 pumps, it's going to go right to the floor. Right to the floor. 1, 2, and 3. I am back. Those have now set to what pressure they want to be. Put your wheel back on. Take your car out for a test drive. Hope you enjoyed saving $600.